Well guys, I'm out here in the field with my Steiger today. We've done probably close to 300 acres of tillage so far this spring with it. Only have a couple days left. But I ran into a problem yesterday morning and basically the slave cylinder on my clutch went out. So I've been driving this thing, basically starting it in the gear I'm using to till, which is third gear, which is not very fast. And then floating up through the gears to get in a road gear to get to the next field. But part came in yesterday for it. Yesterday evening I kind of finished what I was doing here in this field. It's actually sprinkling just a little this morning, but I finished this field up in 80. So today we are going to crawl up under here and replace the slave cylinder on the side of the clutch. It is right there on the side of the transmission. It's fairly accessible, 3/4 inch bolts and a 3/4 inch bolt, and then one line to undo, and it shouldn't be too hard to replace, I don't think. So I'm gonna work on that this morning, and I got my tools along to bleed it, brake fluid and stuff like that, and you know, we'll get to replacing it. And the master cylinder up here, I'll have to put fluid in, so we're just looking to make sure I can get to that too. Okay, we get some tools out and go to work. Already lost my hat this morning. Nice. Not a hard one to replace, at least, thankfully. Better than working on a car, that's for sure. Just dirty under here. Of course, the brake fluid leaked out. Dust stuck to it, so it's a little messy under here this morning. Could be a lot worse. If we just get that to where it wanted to turn, this would be easy. The line is unhooked. Nice. Got dirt in my mouth. Yummy. I'd like to get that out of the way so it's not getting dirt in it. There we go. We'll put this rod in the new one and the new one up there. Come on, fingers. Okay. Okay, master cylinder is full of brake fluid. So now we crawl back down underneath the tractor. I'll get my vacuum weeder tool out and we'll see if we can get this sucker bled. There we go. Now we're getting some brake fluid. Kind of waiting for it to stop bubbling, more or less. Get a good constant flow. I got a lot of nasty brake fluid out of that, that's for sure. If you look, it did suck it down by about half there, so I bet we have a clutch pedal now. We'll top it off and see what happens. But before I start it for the day, we're gonna check antifreeze and oil. Just because we're here. Antifreeze is right there, about an inch down. That's great. Go check engine oil. Gotta remember, this is a 45-year-old tractor, so it might burn some oil, whether you want it to or not. So, yeah, we're down on the low mark, so we'll add some oil to it this morning before I fire it up. No big deal. Maybe. My hardest part might be putting the dipstick back in. Who knew? Go in the hole. There it is. It's hard doing this. Holding the camera. But, okay, we'll grab some engine oil and top it off real quick. Okay, I topped off and added about, a gallon of antifreeze. That's, or engine oil. That's not unheard of on something this age for 3 or 4 days where they're running. My alternator belt is what squeaks. Once it gets up into the, about halfway up the green, it always quits. So, it does feel like I have a clutch pedal again, so that is a relief. We will raise that up, cycle it through one. Get my AgLeader fired up here. Quit squeaking! Okay, there's that. Still not quite up to full charging yet. Close though. There we go. Okay, now, because my pickup is sitting in the way, we're gonna try putting this thing in reverse. Oh yes, I have a clutch pedal again. Feels good. Okay, we'll put it in first and pull back the head a little bit. Nice. Okay. Perfect. We'll let that fine satellites this morning. Put the hood down and grease the pickers and the center joints on this tractor and go to work. By now, so I'm gonna fold this thing up and get to the next field. Just a 28-foot Sunflower Fallow King. So not anything large. I could probably pull 35 foot with this tractor, but this is what we have because we used to pull with front wheel assists. I mean, 15 years ago we had a 42-foot version of one of these behind Dad's 895 Versatile, but times have changed. So we have a clutch pedal now, so I'm gonna run this thing down the road and we'll see you when we get to the next field. Well, we're rolling. I'm just bordering this couple fields here. It's total like 100 some odd acres, I think. But the grass is mostly just encroaching around the outside edge of the field, so I'm going to do 2 rounds around it here with the Steiger and go on to the next field. But I'm a gear down from where I usually pull in, just because I'm working along fence lines here in a minute. Don't want to get myself in trouble. We're 5.8 mile an hour wide open. Just coming down along the road here, trying to keep the grass and the road ditches and pastures and whatnot from encroaching into our fields. Keep right on it going. I'll explain more about the grass we're fighting when we get to a field later today that actually does have a grass issue across the entire field. And this is why I'm a gear down, because I'm coming up on a ditch. Explain more about the grass problem we have when I get to a field with a pretty serious issue later today. Well, I got my rounds made around this field. It's a quarter section here, but this part here is a pasture where we have cows. It's right there. It's pasture. But yeah, we're chugging along here, 6.3, 6.4, lugging down a little right here because it's a pretty compacted spot for me with the combine. But we're chugging right along. 26-inch sweeps on that, just lifting up the grass and whatnot here in this outside edge of this field. Remember, this spot's not bad, but there on the property line towards the west, a pretty heavy no-till neighbor starting to have some pretty serious problems with this grass creeping in over there. But we're going to put 2 28-foot passes around this field because I have worked this field before in the past for this problem and pretty well got it contained. Just what's coming in along the edges is the problem, and basically along our pasture, so that's almost our fault. It is our fault. But yeah, it's a windmill grass or clump grass. It's actually a native grass, so you know, it's what we want growing in the pastures, but we don't want it in here. And so we're just doing rounds around this field to solve the problem, and then I've got 2 more fields I'm going to do the same thing in here shortly once I've finished this round around this field here, and then we got a whole field I'm going to do next. The whole field's not very big, but we'll get some good video shots of this Steiger out here pulling, and yeah, just keep rolling along, keep covering acres. It's nice to have a clutch pedal again, that is for sure, and it's nice to have this AgLeader auto steer set up. It makes my life really easy as far as this goes. Not that it's hard to freehand this tillage stuff by any means. I've done plenty of it before, but it's a pretty nice step to have this in here. Okay guys, I got a pretty good example of what we're dealing with this bunch grass, or clump grass. I'll show you what it looks like over here. kind of starts as these little clumps like this, or bunches of grass. Then it really gets into like a big mat, almost literally like a lawn or a pasture if you let it go long enough. And that's why we're out here working this. You can see after you go through it here, you get these little root balls of it, like that. It gets really thick. We're just kind of lifting it straight up and just bringing it out of the soil and cutting off the roots, just kind of, because it just creates a mat on the top layer of soil. It really doesn't go deep, so we're just flopping her up more than anything is kind of what we're dealing with. So far we found that chemicals only really brown it. It just keeps coming back year to year. So we kind of have to just take this action of tillage. And I think this is the first time in 15 years, at least, that this field has been tilled. Maybe in a previous wheat crop at some point in time we might have tilled it. But yeah, it's been a heck of a long time. But you know, it's just a sweet machine here. It just comes, it's got these 26-inch blades. This machine's 28 foot wide, and it just kind of lifts the soil. And then the pickers are on the back just to kind of smooth everything up. As you can see, I found some net wrap. I'll have to get a torch out later and burn that. But it leaves a really nice finish here. Not too aggressive, leaves a lot of residue. Whole, which is kind of keeping everything from blowing away. I'm going to set you guys up here on a fence post, and we'll get some video of the Steiger in action. the tillage today. I think I'm gonna park this, go hop in the Magnum and run a disc there shortly, and go work in some dry fertilizer on some of my ground that's going to Milo. And then it's time to look at a planter. I think we've still got a week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks before we put any corn in the ground. We usually wait till after the 1st of May. It's the 24th now, so I got at least a week, if not 2, until we get to rolling on corn. But for now, we're gonna keep hammering out acres. Well guys, I finished up with Steiger Fallow King and jumped tractors into our Magnum. We're pulling a disc, working in fertilizer just like we were doing the other day with the Steiger, but this is corn ground, so those Fallow Kings don't really work in this heavy a residue. So we're using an IH 490 disc, trucking along at 5 mile an hour. I could probably go up a gear, but we're not. Actually just have this field left to do and then I'm done. So we're just trucking along here, working in. I think there's 40 pounds of phos down, 5 pounds of sulfur, and 5 pounds of zinc, and yeah, sort of using GPS, sort of not. These ATUs suck after you've been running a steady steer and it's all over the place, and I'm tired of it. Only probably have 15 acres left to go, so we're gonna keep hammering here. But you guys have a good one. We're gonna keep farming for a while. I've bought something today that's gonna be a future revival video. So we get to make a Willet run of that sometime fairly soon. It's at least local to me, so I'm not running all over hell doing it. But we're gonna drag that one out of the weeds hopefully fairly soon. So you guys go drag something out of the weeds and get it running. Thanks.